What's up, everyone? Today we're going to be working on the Plymouth Satellite. Now, I asked you guys if you guys would be interested in the longer format that I was trying out, or go back to the way it was. And it seems like you guys would like more of the time lapse with the like stopping in between, let you guys know what I'm doing. And so more like the original format. So that's what we're going to do. We're not going to do the longer formats. We're going to go ahead and just do the day by day when things get completed as they get completed. And with the new direction of the car, I am incredibly excited, and I'm really happy that it's going to become something unique, something like an abomination, like crazy. And I don't know, it's gonna allow for a lot more fun. So let's go ahead and start working on our project for today. The goal is to replace, now I was originally thinking we will go ahead and make gussets and everything like that, but after looking at the structure of the vehicle, I think the way we're going to be able to do this, and it'll either work or it won't, we're going to remove just this right here, the inner fender, without taking apart anything. So my hope is we'll be able to take the spot welds out on this side. If we go to this side over here, we have plenty of access to where the spot welds are there. We'll just have to find them. Once we find them, we can drill them out, and we will have to take the hood off. Now, it is possibly going to rain today, so I hope we can actually get this done. So the goal will be pop this out without removing it. We'll have a little bit of here and there. We'll just cut it right out, and then we'll find the spot welds along the actual frame rail, drill them out, and this will be actually good. It'll allow us to put that into place exactly where it needs to be, bolt it back into the fender, and then translate the spot welds. Like, we're going to be taking the spot welds out on this side. We'll translate the spot welds from here onto the fender, through the actual frame rail to the fender. And on this side, we're going to do just we might even try out the new to us spot weld machine. I don't know if I have a plug that will work for it or not, but I think that's how we're going to do it. I think this will allow us to keep a lot of rigidity through the actual body right here. So when we go ahead and remove the frame rail, we'll just remove it from, you know, the spots here. We have a few spot welds through here. I'm hoping we can do it without having to completely replace the lower radiator core support, but if we have to do a little bit of damage to the lower radiator core support, then we may have to replace it. So anyways, let's go ahead, start tearing into that, and get her done. I'll be right back. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is, looking at this, I think we need to take the hood off. Once the hood's off, I'm going to go ahead, strip all the bits and pieces off of here. We are going to leave this brake assembly, the whole thing, just sitting there right now. I never did find out what the whole point of this 12.2 was, so we'll go ahead and just pull that out of there, throw that in the garbage. And yeah, we'll remove things that are on the actual inner fender, remove this right here. Then we're going to use this to strip the paint and the rust so that we can see where the spot welds are. We're not going to do the whole thing, just enough so that I know where I'm drilling the holes. We're going to do that on this side through here, and then on the reverse side on the back side of it. Then once we have all of our spot welds drilled out, we'll go ahead and remove the bolts from the inner fender holding to the outer fender. Hopefully this will then come right out, and we'll be able to slide the new one in, bolt it in, weld it throughout there, but leave, you know, we'll leave the old frame rail welds out, because we obviously don't want to re-weld that to that right now. So let's go ahead, get to work, and I guess we'll start the time lapse. All right, as you can see, we have a spot weld here. Looks like we also have one right up here as well. Another one there. Looks like another one there. Potentially one there. Definitely one there. And then we have a whole bunch through here based off of the one we already took apart. And we did manage to get the plate off without damaging it. I actually used a tungsten deburrer for that. That worked fine. So just give me a couple minutes. I'm going to go ahead, take the block off, take the hinge off, and anything else I can see that needs to be unbolted. It looks like we have a couple bolts right there as well. Oh no, that's not just on the hinge. Okay, it's not bad. So hopefully, like I said, this will all come apart without too much hesitation. It's hard to tell just based off of the old one, because it looks like this one actually comes up here onto the firewall, where this one does not. So that actually looks like it butts up to it. So it may come down to having to take the fender off. It looks like we have something tucked up over here and a couple tucked up over here. So if we have to take it off, we will. If not, I'm trying not to, because I don't want to just rely on the rigidity of the frame rail right now. Not that there's a lot of weight up front on it, but I don't know, we're gonna have to do what we have to do. So let's give her a shot. Now I've been working through trying to find every single one of our spot welds, and you can see they went to town on this bracket. You can actually see the bracket down underneath here. So what we'll do is we'll drill all those out, and then when we put the new frame rail in and it's all buttoned up and we just have to put those welds in, we'll just go ahead, drill through from below up through the new inner fender, bolt it into place, and then just plug weld all the rest of them. And then what I'll do is I'll put a piece of copper on the back side of it and then just plug weld the spot where we bolt through, and then it'll just be seamless and we can go ahead, grind it smooth and make it look good. As far as over here, you can actually see where the inner fender ends and the radiator core support begins. You go underneath here and you can definitely see we should be able to clean off this undercoating and just remove the spot welds without having to take this fender off. I really want to keep as much structure in this car as possible. If I had a garage and a nice concrete slab and I could level things, it'd be a different story, but I don't. So we want to keep the shape of the car as best as we absolutely can. So let's go ahead. Oh, and we are going to be using a Sawzall. Once we have these drilled out, I'm going to go ahead and cut around the bracket as best I can, and then go through and then cut all the way around. I've been trying to just get at everything, and I think that's going to make life a lot easier. I can use my air chisel to go through and remove the sheet metal around the spot welds and then grind the spot welds smooth. And then we can just put our own spot welds in with the spot weld machine. Or if I don't have a plug for it, we'll go ahead and do our own plug welds. So let's get back to it, guys. Now I know people don't like to use pneumatic hammers for this type of thing, but I'll be honest with you, I've found that just chiseling it works, but man, pneumatic hammers, they are awesome, especially when it's rusty like this. You just break these spots right off. And seeing how I don't really need any of these parts here, frame rate or anything, you don't have to worry about it. But I also used it on the brand new frame rail, and I didn't do any damage that way. But you can see the kind of cool part about this is it tears the old sheet steel off, so you can actually see where the spot welds are. We could drill them out later. If you get yourself in a nice groove, it works out well. Let's see if we can do this. You can take the whole thing right off in one swipe. That's pretty awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and knock that off because that is like a arm getter right there. So I'm using a Husky from Home Depot, and every so often she just doesn't seem to want to go. It kind of does that. Oh, what's up with that? But it's not all the time. But allows you to just get things out of the way. So next we have to get this side off, get attacked by a hornet or whatever the heck that was, and we have to get a little strip over on this side off yet, and we're actually doing really well getting this off. It might go back together, might go back together today. That would be really cool, although it's a little ominous over there. But yeah, look at that, guys. I did get this a little bit, so before I go ahead and put it all back together, I'll put a little V grind in this thing, put a nice little bead through it, make it right. We'll grind off the spot welds that I didn't take out. Apparently I missed. They went crazy on these spot welds. We have one here, one here, one here, one here. Did I miss? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 spot welds. They didn't want that to go anywhere. Holy crap. So we'll plug weld it all, make it all perfect again, and call her a day. But anywho, let's keep getting this off. What else? Oh, yeah, cut off wheels will be your friend in this situation. Just like I cut through brake line here, don't really care. This thing is like seized up, so we're gonna have to source out a new brake thing, new whole booster. I don't know if the booster's probably fine, but our reservoir is no good, so our master cylinder is probably no good, and the lines are a joke. We should put a line lock in this thing because it's already going to be like demonic, so we have to have it breathe fire or smoke at this point. I don't know. All right, back to it. Well, guys, I gotta say I'm pretty excited about how this is turning out. So I am not going to put our spot welds into this bracket that's underneath right here until we have the new frame put in. And the reason why I say that is because this will have to go, let's see if we can't go the other side right quick. So this will have to get out of the way so that it can put the new frame rail in. And once it's in, we'll be able to go ahead and put our plug welds in there and make it nice and happy. As far as the rest of it goes, I gotta be honest, I'm very surprised that we were able to finagle this back into place without having to take the fender off. So I got to go ahead and I'm going to put a couple spot welds in just so it holds it right where it needs to be, and then I'm going to run a bead up through the top. I want this to be very, very strong because it's going to be a structural member while the frame is out. As far as the other side, I'm going to do the same thing, just from the other side, just so I don't have to worry about taking apart all this. Eventually this will come out. I'm trying to get this done pretty quick, and before I take it out, I want to troubleshoot what the problem really is. If it's just the reservoir, if it's the master cylinder itself, you know, because if you actually let's see, the last time I tried taking that off, she almost took my finger off. But the inside of it looks really, really good. So I haven't tried troubleshooting it yet, but she's not really too terrible in there. I don't know if it's just a matter of getting a replacement one, how expensive a replacement one will be, or if I'm gonna have to just sit down and restore it. Probably get a replacement, but hey, we work with what we got, and sometimes we have to get something else. So let me go ahead, break out the welder so we can at least get this thing buttoned up today. And then tomorrow, I actually don't know what we're going to be doing tomorrow, because I don't know if it's going to be a frame rail day or if it's going to be really bad. This week is kind of meh. So I'm just glad we were able to get as nice of a day as we have today. So let's go ahead, put some welds into this side, some welds on the other side, and then just put this section of the repair to bed. All right, I'll be right back. Actually, before I start digging into that, look at that. I had to cut a little piece out of the new one. Nothing big, just a little piece to make it fit nice and snug. But yeah, this can all go right in the garbage. Still pretty excited how well this is actually working. Sometimes you get lucky, and today we're getting lucky. So hopefully it holds up and we get a couple welds in and knock on metal, right? The last part for today is trying to get the hood back on by myself. That's gonna be fun. I must have sprayed the can of the stop rust a little bit weird or something, because she bubbled up a bit. I don't know. We'll strip it down tomorrow and I'll just put a new layer on or something. Not a big deal, but guys, sometimes you just get lucky. Hold on a second. See? You can actually see one of the welds up there. A couple spot welds through there. It also bolts, or spot welded up here. It's bolted on with these bolts. This plate right here actually holds it into place, so I'm pretty happy with that as well. But yeah, phase 1 of frame rail replacement, she's done. Look at that, guys. She's coming together. Little stuff. This is probably going to take 2 days. We'll get her so that when I take it apart, nothing moves, and just hope for the best. As long as it all lines back up at the end, I have measurements for what it's worth, and hopefully it all lines back up. But you can see how this will actually spot weld back in. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple spot welds into it, and then I'll run a bead all the way around as well. We'll get that nice and snug as a bug in a rug, guys. Snug and a bug in a rug. Like a bug. I don't know, whatever. All right. Let's go put this this hood back on and hope for the best that that doesn't go through the windshield. And just like that, guys, phase 1 of I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 probably 3 phases. Probably 3 phases to remove and replace the old frame rail. One was, of course, to replace the structure that is this inner fender. Now we have a nice, solid, not going to go anywhere, skookum piece of hardware right there. Next is going to be going through and finding every single spot weld on the firewall, as well as anywhere inside of the actual car. We want this thing to go back exactly the way it is. No difference. And once it's on there, we'll run a bead to make sure that it doesn't come loose, because that would suck. And I have to go ahead and remove the welds I put on holding it to the torsion bar cross member. Once that's together, we'll go ahead, throw the suspension back on. I still need to find a oh man, why can't I think of the name of it? Oh, I need to find another one of these, not a pinion shaft, strut rod. I can't remember what it's called now. Oops, sorry, ooh, almost dropped you. Mopar has some really complex suspension geometry and parts and pieces. It's very interesting, but very complex. So then it can go all back together, and at some point we'll go ahead and replace the ball joints on the steering. But right now I want it to back together, engine in here, get it running right, and do a couple burnouts in the road. But I'm very happy we were able to do that without taking this fender off. And it was really weird. So when I was putting this on here, and there you have this overlap on these body panels, I went ahead and got this to line up with this body panel, and I'm like, this is not working out at all. It's not lining up. And I was worried that this was like the wrong style or something like that. But if you look at this side over here, it's the same way. Very strange that they'd have an overlap like that, but yeah, we're there, guys. And the rain actually held out, so I'm very happy about that. So anyways, remember, of course, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel out a lot. I've noticed that we've gone up a little bit as far as percentage of how many people are subscribed to how many people are watching, but we're still only at 70%, which is 5% improvement. So remember, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it greatly. And remember, as always, keep your shiny side up, and God bless.